What's up, jet ski fans? Welcome to the Joel Arsenault YouTube channel. In today's video, we are going to be building a lid for the e-box and hopefully getting some other stuff sorted out. Anyway, I'm going to shut up now and start laying up some carbon fiber on this mirror. I have already put a coat of wax on it, or a few coats of wax on it, so hopefully we don't have any trouble with it sticking because, well, I did have a lot of trouble with the mold sticking that I made the e-box with. I now have all my carbon fiber cut out. It went pretty well. You guys may remember in my last video I said that I was hoping to be able to use some of the cheaper carbon fiber and then use the more expensive stuff as the finishing layer. Well, I'm going to be able to do that in this video, or for this part, because it is perfectly flat, so I don't have to do any weird contours or fit into any weird nooks or crannies. So this is the less expensive stuff. It doesn't conform very well. You can see it is holding its shape. And if I hold this stuff, this is the 2x2 twill, which is good for finishing. You can see it curls around. It is very, it conforms well. So I'm going to use basically this stuff as the core. So the less expensive stuff is going to be the core. And then I will have 3 layers on the side that you will see of the finishing stuff, and 2 layers on the side that you won't see. Actually, yeah, that's what I'm going to do. I'm sure the camera will struggle to pick this up, but there are some imperfections in the glass. There's some pretty major ones here, so I'm going to stay away from that area when laying down the carbon fiber, because I don't want that to show up on my part. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this as my first layer. This is going to be the part that you actually see. So I'll check to make sure all the fibers are looking good. Now what I need to do is set up all of my bagging materials. This is a fairly straightforward part to make. I'm also going to be using the cheaper tacky tape because this should be fairly easy piece to get the seal up.
What's my purpose? What do I grab? A slippery surface, a heart attack. And sometimes you just gotta believe there's something that'll give you relief. There's something that'll have what you need. What you need. We're broken, it's tragic. We're not all elastic, but maybe there's magic. Believe you.
I've got some transparent green pigment, and I am going to attempt this and see what happens. Yeah, let's go for it. I decided to mix up another 50 grams just because I don't want to run out. I don't want to suck air. Even if I don't run out, I could suck air in this cup because 100 grams only comes up to like there. So yeah, if I pull air, it could ruin the part. So I'd rather have a little bit extra and not ruin the part. It is now actually a couple of hours later. I let the vacuum drop off a little bit. It is at 25 inches of mercury. The epoxy, as much as it seemed it wanted to set up right away, is now taking quite a long time to actually fully harden. I am going to leave it now. I probably won't get around to unwrapping this until tomorrow evening because I have a very busy day ahead of me tomorrow. It is Monday morning, and this probably isn't the best time to tackle this just in case something goes wrong. It is Monday morning. I'm about to go to work, but I decided to come out into the garage and pull this thing off of the mirror and take a look at it. It went extremely well. Unfortunately, the GoPro said that it was at 100% charge, and I started recording. Got ready to take it out into the sun to show you guys, and well, I looked at the camera and it had power down because the battery was dead. So, good news is that the piece turned out well. I'm not sure that the epoxy will show up green at all. I doubt it will. But it turned out nice. It's not perfect. So now we need to cut it into a shape and make it into a lid. You can tell when it's beside it like this that there's some green in the epoxy. I poured a little bit of the epoxy into a piece of peel ply that was sitting in a cup. Just because, yeah, just because. So now let's try to peel the peel ply off. Let's see what we're left with. Well, that's pretty neat. I bet that'll look neat in the sun.
Living life, every day, late at night, not okay. All I want, and I pray, all I need are some better days. Fuck me, I'm looking in the mirror, so foggy, but I've never seen clearer. I don't really think anyone can save me, and honestly I'm not really sure I want saving. I like to be my own worst enemy. There's no risk if you don't try at anything, so I'ma just keep buying everything. See you in the next life, have to be a better me. I don't think that my head's on straight, gotta flip it and grip it and go and get an x-ray. What's wrong with me? I just feel weight pushing on my chest and it squeezes till I suffocate. Better change my mindset, meditate. It's pretty cool that I'm alive and have better days. I could walk, see, hear.
The e-box is going to be mounted in there like this, and so the only time it could actually get water in the e-box is if it was upside down and full of water, which, let's be honest, is going to happen. So it does need to be sealed up somewhat, but for the most part it's not going to be submersed in water. I'm now drilling out the holes for the e-box lid. I'm not being terribly fussy about the positioning of them as far as it goes left to right, or front to back rather, but I want to make sure that they're not too close to the inside or too close to the outside. I am going to have to trim some off of this so that it doesn't hit the exhaust. So I've made up this guide. I've already used it a few times. I've got to do one more hole. We've got about 85 millimeters. So what I'm going to do is hold this up here, centered, and then hold the hole over the 0 mark. So that's at 85, this is at 0. And now I'm going to go clamp this in the vise and drill this out. And I moved it, so I have to do it over again. It's a diamond cutter bit. So there's no self-centering to it. That works super good though. It is the morning of Wednesday, May 17th, and I've had a service call cancel. Fortunately, it was the very first service call of the day, so I actually have a little bit of time to play with my e-box. I don't think I showed this on camera, but I turned down the head of some bolts. The plan is to put it in between the surf braces in this orientation, the bubble facing up. And in order to do that, I had to get some bolts in between the surf brace and e-box. And so I'm going to epoxy or JB weld them in place or something. So what I'm doing now, I've already turned the heads of them down. I'm going to remove them, scuff them up, and rough up the surface on the e-box and see if I can mix up a batch of epoxy and put these in place. Hopefully they're cured by the time I'm done my service calls. I've now done a little bit more work to the e-box lid, and the studs. I cut the studs to length and I trimmed the e-box and the e-box lid down a little bit so that I would have more clearance for the exhaust. I trimmed both sides because I wanted it to be fairly even, fairly symmetrical. And so now what I'm going to do, I need to figure out how I'm going to actually mount this on. I might get BJ to print me some 3D printed brackets for it. In fact, that's probably what I'll end up doing. But what I'm going to do right now is wrap some electrical tape around here and figure out kind of what thickness I want. He can also print me some gasket material. I forget what you call it, but he can print me basically a rubbery stuff. And I might put some of that in between the E-box and the surf brace just so that it doesn't vibrate around and wear holes through either the surf brace or the E-box. I thought I had designed this deep enough that I could run the relay standing up, but I don't know if the camera can pick that up, but yeah. I definitely did not make this deep enough so that I could run the relay that way. I might have thought that I would run it on its side, which it would just barely be tall enough to do that. But the problem is then I need to run the wires in through and bolt them on to the relay inside here. So I'm going to see if I can come up with a different solution for a relay. Not pleased about this. I also think I've decided that I'm going to mount my coils on these bolts for the lid. I'll try to show you guys that now. The E-box is going to go on there like this. And I've got these 3 studs coming out here quite conveniently. I can use those to mount my coils on. Except that I've already cut them down. So now I'll need to remove them and reinstall longer ones. So yeah, I'll probably be doing that. Anyway, it's getting late. I have service calls tomorrow. So it looks like I'm not going to get any more done this evening. So, most of the progress that I've made was putting these bolts in there, and I'm probably taking 3 of them out. I'm playing around with the electronics a little bit. I've used the calipers to mark off how far I need to go in so that I don't bump the sides. I've marked off a line, and now I'm going to, I think, use some tacky tape to hold these in place, maybe permanently or maybe just temporarily. And once I have these held in place, I can test fit the lid, and then I can figure out where I want to drill the holes to put the connectors through. I just had a eureka moment, and it might be really obvious to you guys watching the video, but I can actually use tacky tape for the gasket. That will seal it up perfectly, and yeah, it'll just work perfect. I don't know why I didn't think of it before. Hey, buddy. Are you having a good time up there? I didn't bother filming the drilling or the tapping of the holes to hold these brackets on. They are 5mm by 0.8 thread pitch. So I've got them on there, and now what I'm going to do is punch some holes down through here. got my holes drilled, and now I just need to glue the plate to the e-box lid. As you guys can probably see, it is now dark outside. I am sitting in my garage watching some YouTube videos, or listening to some YouTube videos, while doing a little bit of wiring. I'm starting to figure out the layout of the wiring, and hoping that I don't screw this up. I put an eyelet connector on the ground. Oh yes, I didn't show you guys this either. I put a ground lug or a ground bolt through into the aluminum plate, and so now I'll be able to connect a ground to the outside of the e-box here, and I can tie all my grounds together inside, so I will have ground for the actually I can ground the ignition coils on the outside, so I won't actually need to go through with a ground. So it's going to save me, long story long, it's going to save me from putting an extra wire through the e-box, because I have this bolt, which is the ground, going through, and it's a much more robust ground. So I'm about to... All right, now solder and heat shrink. Soldering cools off, I can put my connectors on the coil wires. We got blue, orange, and yellow that feed the coils, and then this wire that I'm making is the ground. They'll have their individual grounds. We just had another big downpour and a bunch of hail. I haven't been filming much of this, but I've been working on it. I'm trying to get as much done as possible, and filming slows stuff down. So I hope you guys understand. I've built some standoffs. I'll grab them here. These little things, I'll show you guys the installation in just a little bit. But I built these things, and I made some brackets to hold this on. I'm either going to wrap some tape around the carbon fiber surf braces, or get BJ to 3D print me some TPU bumpers or dampers. But yeah, I'm just drilling a hole through the carbon fiber now, and then I will show you guys how this mounts. This is not going to be the final installation. I'm just going to show you guys what the plan is as far as installing this. So I have some standoffs mounted on the e-box itself. These will also be used to hold the e-box closed and sealed along the front and back. So I don't have them installed on the back yet, and that's because they're actually attached to the bar on the back. This goes in here like this, sits in there fairly easily like that. And then the front piece, this is the bracket for the front, it goes on like this. And it goes into place very easy because there's a lot of room up here. It will be fairly easy to thread these bolts in for the rear bracket from the underside. Keep in mind the e-box isn't something that is going to have to come off, hopefully anyway. The e-box isn't going to be something that comes off every time you make a trip out. It's yeah, the only thing that's in there is the CDI and the voltage regulator. So hopefully this goes on and just stays on there and there's no problems. So the reason why the aluminum standoffs are in there is because I don't want to be able to over tighten this and actually squish the carbon fiber, break these surf brace tubes. And so yeah, it is on there very secure. Once there's a little bit of rubber in between the e-box and the surf brace and the bracket and the surf brace, it will tighten up, give it some vibration damping, but it's already in there very secure, and the coils are all pointed exactly at the spark plugs. Most of my wiring's done. I am very happy with this progress. Well, there you have it, folks. I hope you enjoyed the video. It was a real struggle to get anything done and a real struggle to actually get this video edited because I am extremely busy with work. I'm definitely not complaining because I can definitely use the income from work because it is seasonal and, well, this is the season where I need to do it. Next weekend, I am hoping to get this thing out and test it. There will probably be one video in between now and then, basically showing you guys firing it up and some of the issues that I had along the way. Anyway, I'm hoping to get out next weekend because the weekend after that, I am driving back to Nevada to bring Megan's parents back to pick up their truck and trailer. So that is going to be a weekend that I don't have time to edit any video or ride jet ski or do anything like that. So that is going to do it for this one. I hope you guys enjoyed. I did have to cut a whole bunch of stuff out of this video to make it easier for me to edit, and because GoPro and Mac gave me some hard times with editing, with seizing up the iMovie software and a whole bunch of other problems that I'm not going to get into here. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I will see you guys. No promises on when I'm going to get another video out, but yeah, fingers crossed that the Jet Ski Brothers have a video out today or sometime soon. I'm really looking forward to their next video. But that is going to do it for me. I think that's the third time I said that. Thanks for watching, and I will see you next time. Oh, one more thing. I almost forgot.